Hello guys, this video is about my experience in the update 11 and I got so lucky in this video, so have fun watching this video. So the first thing when the update dropped, what I have done was summon for Denji, who was in the banner when the game released, and yeah, watch yourself what happened.
That's actually bad. That's actually bad. I'm so low on gems. And I really just got nothing. Okay, let's collect everything that I got on gems. There I won't get gems. 1, 8. Get maybe some gems actually. Yeah. Oh no, that's really bad. I'm like on 0 gems. When was this the last time? And I get an allocate? What the fuck?
So at this point I was so annoyed that I got Alucard and not his new Memoria, because I already got an Alucard and now I have 2 Alucards. Yeah, I was just really annoyed that I don't got his new Memoria. Instead I got Alucard and I still need 2 million gems for his new Memoria. But yeah, shit happens, right? So I tested now out the new Land Conquest game mode. It's pretty much an elemental tower, but with other rewards. Like, it was pretty much an elemental tower. Yeah. Uh, so I got the first try pretty much. Played my usual team with only Eins in my team, that was Curse. But I summoned then Whole Knight in it, and Whole Knight and Eins could do it in a duo. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's to the game mode. So after that I just played the new story, all the 6 stages. There was nothing special besides that you could test out near to all units. Beside you couldn't test Alucard and the World Pass units, but yeah, you pretty much tested like all the units out. You got like all the 5 Changeman units, right? So yeah. After this, I have done the legend stage. It's also nothing really special besides the drops where you get at the first one, you get Denji's Memoria. At the second one, you get Magma's Memoria. At the third one, you get the unit Magma. But yeah, besides that, nothing special. So at this time around, there was dropping enemy tacticals, and I also want to do videos on this game. So I FK grinded the stages for Makima and Denji's Memoria, and also the unit Makima, and yeah. So I got now Makima and the Memorias from the Legend stage, so I started to evolve the new units. And the first one that you want to evolve naturally is Denji, because he is the main character um, of the update. And for him you need to evolve Aki and Power. So I just have done this, and yeah. So the next quest after evolving Aki and Power was to kill every boss, not every boss, but every new boss with Denji. So I started to level up his Memoria and also him to level 60, so he would do decent damage and could kill the bosses, and also I have given him some decent stats. So the strat that I have used to get this 5 stone was to do story in extreme at the boss that I don't have killed and do champions. So per stage 3 bosses would spawn, and yeah, it was pretty quick. I think it took like 20 minutes to kill 6 bosses with him. So after getting those 6 boss kills with Denji, I started to summon for Reze because Reze is my favorite um, character from Chainsman, and I really wanted to have Monarch on her and give her a good familiar. And yeah, it's really just my favorite character from Chainsman, and I really love the movie. But yeah. So after I got her, I instantly evolved her, and I also evolved her Memoria. And after that, I just got to spin on her because I wanted to have Monarch on her. But yeah, see yourself what happened.
I got nothing.
So I got absolutely shafted. Um, yeah, but I found some trade rules from normalization and quests and land conquest. So yeah, let's give it a second try.
Monarch! Monarch! Damn, oh, nice. Okay, I got 642. And so let's roll on the one here. I want Divinity. And should I also take Jack of all? I think Jack of all has like 4 uses. I also take Jack of all. Oh, I want Divinity actually, but I would also take Jack of all because Jack of all is also really good. Nah. Meh. 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 Eh. Jack of all, I take it.
So yeah, I got Monarch on Reese, and also I got Jack of all trades on Memoria. And I actually decided on Jack of all trades because it gives a 10% cost reduction, and it's not like a unit like Rukia where you get like not place her and don't need to upgrade her, or like Escanor or something where you need actually to spend money. Because of that, I took a Jack of all trades. So yeah, after that I have evolved Alucard. I don't had evolved Alucard, and also got his what's named familiar, and yeah. So I evolved Alucard at the first place to play tournament because he is now the strongest unit in the game and he was really important for the tournament. And yeah, my high score is 33 million at the first day. This is my own strat, so it's not really that good. I just tried some things out, and on the next day I have grinded a burb. You see, it's not a good burb. I just don't got lucky with the bird, but I got 200 phoenix shards and tried to get some good stats on him. But at the end, I really don't got really good stats. I got decent stats, I would say. This is by birth for reze, and yeah. So I also tried to get decent corruption, but at the end I just got corruption 1 and it's really just nothing's changed. It's raw. So also on that day I tried to do tournament again, and this time I got a much better score. What's the score? I think 66 million I got here. Much better score with Alucard and 2 buffers and yeah, just a much better score, right? So yeah. So yeah, after I have grinded like unlimited hours for I think 2 days it was, or 3 days, I was at 112k gems, and those are my completions. I'm at Fire Tower floor 3 because I don't have really Fire Monarch. I'm at Water Tower floor 11 because of Rukia has hard carried it. I'm Nature Tower floor 6 because I have Selkia and um, Trash Gamer Monarch. Bug Tower I'm at floor 5. No, what? I think Spark is just a good element. Oh right, we got Virgil that is really good now with Memorial because he gets a good damage buff. This is pretty unexpected because I have Dio Monarch, but I only got to floor 3. I have not expected that I'm that low on floor 3. Curse I'm on floor 9. Yeah, I have like Eins and All Night Monarch. Unbound I'm also on floor 9. There I have Broly and... Do I have Broly Monarch? Yeah, I have Broly Monarch, I'm pretty sure. But I have Monarch, Mob and Broly here for Unbound. Last tower I'm on floor 5. What? Ah, right. Reese has carried me there because I got things. Cosmic Tower I couldn't beat because my Cosmic units are really bad. Even though I have Iron Monarch, but it has done like nothing. Passion Tower, same for that. I couldn't really beat it. Unknown Tower, I'm on floor 3. With my Monarch. Such a Wu that I got for Unknown. And for the Omni Tower, I'm on floor 4. But I don't really know. I think I could go higher, but I was like, nah, I just don't want to do this. Or maybe I just lost, I don't know. But yeah. So after that I have evolved Law because the new video from XQT is or was coming out, and I wanted to get a good score and the best score you could get with Law. But I don't have the footage anymore where I have got my high score. So yeah. After the tournament, it's the next day, we also got the tournament rewards. And yeah, I started to pull for all the memorials that I don't got and the units that I don't got. So yeah, and look what happened.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be really hard, right? Filter by status damage. Can't play the love. This one. Just use them into it. Oh, max level. Oh. And there we go. Please. What's reached? What's reached? What? 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 Nice. That's really nice. Oh my god.
So yeah, I really just got like the Memoria after I think I was 200k gems in or 300k. I really got it early, like 15,000 pity still left, and yeah, it was like so crazy. And over the next days, I just started to evolve units. So a small montage. So after evolving all these units and memorias, I also need to level up them and watch what happened.
I still have. What? I'm not dreaming, right? I'm not dreaming. What? If we go to the wiki from Anime Vanguards, the tier list, and we look at the tier list. Allocat's Memoria, Allocat's Memoria, Allocat's Memoria, Allocat's Memoria. Okay, no, Denji Memoria. Okay. Okay, and that's the Memoria from what's her name? Maki. Alucard's Memoria, Alucard's Memoria, Alucard's Memoria. Even though they have exclusive memories for them, it's Alucard's Memoria. Okay, this is from Benimaru the Memoria and Alucard's Memoria. Every unit, or nearly every unit, used the Memoria from Alucard. Even here, Alucard's Memoria, Alucard's Memoria. Okay, no, Alucard's Memoria. So nearly every unit that don't has an exclusive, and even units that have an exclusive, they use Alucard's Memoria. And I got a second of them! A second! That's so good. That's so good.
So I would say in this moment I was absolutely not happy. So why would I be happy if I get a secret Memoria from the banner that is like 1 in 20k? Why would I be happy? Like, I wouldn't say I was happy. Like, yeah. But for I was so lucky, like I got 300k, 400k gems, 2 allocate memories, and that's just crazy because nearly every unit in the game uses that. It's just way too crazy, and yeah. So now the segment comes where I just showcase all the new units. I'm pretty much 3 weeks late for that because I think all the big YouTubers have already done showcases on all those units with Monarch and everything. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you next time. Or maybe you just watched the showcase again. Yeah, any unit placed before this unit becomes chained to this unit. For each unit chained, reduce placement cost by 10%, increase damage by 20%. Anytime a chained unit is sold or deleted, it plays bleed to all enemies in range for 50% of the unit's damage. 20-second cooldown. So when we placing character, you see Magmia is reducing her cost by 10%. And so when we placed, oh my god, 10 characters, she costs nothing to place. For every placed character we get a 20% damage buff, I think. Damage buff, yeah. And if we delete or sell a character, all enemies in range get a bleed of 20% of Magmia's damage. Pretty strong because Magma is also so really strong, and yeah, you see like without Monarch she has 270k on placement. So yeah. When a chained ally attacks a bleeding enemy, oh my god, those are way too many sound effects. Those are way too many sound effects. Can't hear nothing. When chained ally attacks a bleeding enemy, they inflict wounded, and if they are demon hunter, they deal 30% more damage. Every chained ally attacks increase this unit damage by 2%. So we had the chained allies. Every time they attack, she gets a 2% damage buff up to 50%. And yeah, if they attack a bleeding enemy, that is every time if you play her with Denji, the enemy gets wounded, and wounded does that they do 30% of damage. And also if they have the category demon hunter, so all the tradesman units, they get another 30% damage buff. Anytime a chained unit performs a basic attack, this unit performs a follow-up for 2% of this unit's damage. This attack does not have an animation and is just an instance of damage. Attacks performed this way slow the enemy by 50% for 5 seconds. So every time a chained unit, so the units that we have placed before we place her, attacks, she gonna follow up with no animation. It's just an instance of damage, so it's instantly doing it with 2% damage of hers and also slows the enemy, so it's mainly for the slow here, right? It's not for the damage. So let's go over the memory. Attacks apply bleed for 5% of the unit's damage for 8 seconds, so this memoria you can use also on full OE 1, so the enemies have every time bleed forever, like yeah, it's an infinite bleed stop. Anytime a demon hunter ally is chained, increase damage by 10% when this buff reaches 50%, buff all chained allies by 30% damage. So if you're playing her with a chainsman unit, she gets a 50% damage buff, and if she gets 50% damage buff, for that you need to place 5 of them to chain, or all allies get a 30% damage buff. Of all chained allies get a 50% damage buff. When demon hybrid is in this unit range, that unit gains 4% damage. So if Denji is in the range from Akuma, she gets just a 4% damage buff. Or Denji gets a 40% damage buff. Denji gets a 40% damage buff. Okay, not Magma, Denji gets it. So that's Magma. Not really, Magma has a bit more to her, but yeah, leagues don't care. Both leagues. So we want to chain, we say, some of Denji's. And now let's go over the text. We're gonna do effects of Denji.
Her first attack is like bleed from the ground. Her next attack is line, where she just do bang. Just a bang, right? Yeah, bang. Auto attack is a circle attack, where she, I don't know, does anything. In the show you don't have seen so much of Makima, so I don't know what she can, what she can't. So yeah. And her last attack is control. It's in half circle, where just power attacks for her. For Denji. Or Aki, yeah, like a team up attack. So yeah, I wanted to showcase and delete my Denjis. Not the smart spoon. But yeah, she gets the ability, this unit deletes a chained ally at random and does 1k damage, 1000% damage to the strongest enemy in range. The deleted placement cannot be replaced, so if she does this, she just gonna nuke the strongest unit in the range all over the map, but she also gonna delete one of your chained units, and it's random, so you can't choose them and you can't replace them later on. So yeah, like you see, I have 3 placement for Denji, and now I'm gonna use this, and I only have I have still 3 placements here, but you see I don't have 3 placed, and if I delete the other 2 Denjis, I haven't placed Denji, right? And there's still 1, so I can only place 2 of them. Even if I delete her, I still only can place 2 Denjis. So yeah, then let's go over Denji. You have seen she gets a 40% damage buff if paired with Makima from Makima's herself. This unit inflicts bleed for 10% for 20% damage for 8 seconds. When attacking a bleeding enemy, removes all bleed stacks, dealing 50% of the damage. Each stack would gain 10% damage per demon hunter ally in range. So for every chainsman unit in range from Denji, he gets 10% more damage. This unit has a meter. At 100% meter, gain a 100% damage boost. And attacks not apply wounded. This maintains as long as this unit has meter. The meter drains at 1% per second, gain 5 meter per attack and 10 meter per bleed removed via rookie demon hunter. So if he attacks a bleeding enemy. Yeah, this mode is permanent. Like his cooldown is so short, it's like permanent. The enemy's bleeding permanent, it's just permanent. If this unit is chained by demon leader when attacking a wounded enemy, also follow up with up for 30% of this unit's damage. So if my Denji is chained, plus the enemy is wounded, what he does himself, he is gonna chain up with 30% of his damage. When performing a follow-up, do 30% more damage. So it's from 30%, it's like 40% kind of. 40% of his original damage. Whenever this unit loses meter, gain a buff equal to the meter lost. This buff still stands even if you regen the meter, so it's gonna go up to 100%. At the end you have a 200% damage buff through the meter. That's really strong, right? If it hits 0, what's probably never gonna happen, this buff is gone. Anytime this unit removes bleed through his first passive, that bleed is reapplied for 20% of its original value. So he reapplies the bleed like for 20% of what it was, but still really strong because here he does 50% of the stack and it's stacking like infinite. But I think they have nerfed it. Let me see it for a sec. So yeah, if we go to Discord, we see, due to a large number of complaints, we have removed the ability for the UT to be replayed more than once. So it don't stacks infinitely anymore, only one time. So he really got a huge nerf through that, and yeah. Also, it's like a big DOT nerf because we have some strats, right? I gonna show it you later. Then we have Archinex, signed to the contract, 50% damage but 30% cost extra. But let's go first over his passive before we gonna do the contract or anything. I haven't shot a dangerous attack. So he starts with a small circle. His new next attack is Chain Bullets. It's a small circle. He just rushes at the enemy. Chain Blade. No, he gets stunned. Thank you, game. Also need to build him up right. We want his full potential to see. Oh my god, this boss is so annoying. Thank you. So he just go rampage, like, yeah. And at the end he's full OE. So let's wait for the second till he has his full potential achieved. So we are at his full potential, 3.1 extra damage without any other buffs, and he has a 90k DPS without Monarch, and his EDPS is probably much higher because he inflicts wounded, he does bleed, and he also reapplied bleed and everything, so he is much stronger than 90k DPS, probably like 130, 150k DPS without Monarch. So yeah, let's go next over. He buffs all the Imhata allies damage by 20% and reduce their upgrade cost by 10% when attacking an enemy inflicts bleed, deals 50% more damage. All attacks are followed up with attack inflicted with bleed. He don't inflict bleed. So he always does double damage because he always attacks twice. Also, to bleeding enemies, he does 50% more damage, and he is buffing his allies with 20% damage and reduce their curse by 10%. Yeah, his next attack is Fox Demon. It's the demon that we just saw at the follow-up, just calm. And then we have Curse Nail. That's an even bigger circle. That's just like a slash. His last passive is every fourth attack on the same enemy does 200% damage and slows that enemy by 50% for 30 seconds. Damage dealt this way bypass damage reduction. I think it's really bad because 4 slashes it takes like 30 seconds to slow the enemy. First of all, it's not that high of a damage increase and not that high of a damage reduction bypass. Yeah, anytime this unit slows an enemy, deals an instance of equal to 50% of this unit's damage, so yeah, kinda meh. When placed, is given the option to buff own damage by 50%, but increase cost by 30%, so that's the contract that we have seen. Yeah, he costs just more, like, he goes from 108k to 145k. He has a 40k DPS with the contract, and he don't has really good passives, so he's really bad. Actually, he's really bad. He's really bad. But yeah, then we have Reze, my favorite Chainsman, not Chainsman unit, but my favorite Chainsman character from the show that I know of. Like maybe in the manga is someone cooler there, or maybe I like the engine later on Makima, or like Power or someone. But right now is Reze such a good character and I really like her, so yeah, let's go over her. Whenever this unit attacks, I can tell even without passive showing. You can see here the passive, but every time she attacks, she inflicts the enemy with primed. The next time you attack this unit, they take an extra of 100% damage and explode, so they hit even nearby enemies by and yeah, so if you have a stacking of enemies on one occasion or on one point, you can do massive amount on damage. So with time stop and slow, she is really good. Every 5th wave, it's gonna spawn a Reze. If she dies, she gets a 50% damage buff. And if you attack this Reze, she every time explodes. This Reze has 10 times the HP of her damage at the moment. So yeah, when this is killed, buff this. Oh, have I something forgot? Nope. So her passive is that she does 5% more damage against primed enemies. So in total, like 15% because it's only every second attack. Anytime a primed enemy is detonated, reports all enemies hit by the explosion. So if someone dies from the second hit, or not second hit, but from the detonation, or not detonation, but from, like, if this one now dies, all the others would get repulsed, but they have too low of HP to see that. A pretty simple character, there's nothing really to her that's really complicated, it's just high damage amounts. So her next show, he starts with a half AoE, half circle, half full AoE, half full AoE. Anyways, and then she gets the tech explosive drop, where she gets a small circle, then explosive rush, where she gets a bit bigger circle and rushes to the enemy, and high range explosion, where she gets full AoE and blows everything up. So you see her damage numbers 250k, and if we think she does twice the amount on damage, 500k, and then if nearby enemies explode, she can get to up to 2 million DPS or something against bosses if you doing it correct with slow and time stop and everything. So yeah, also you can buff her really good with Brook. So if we look at Denji, he had a 3.1 damage buff, and this is really bad to buff with Brook because it's then just not that high, right? The buff. It's not like buffing the 3.1 by 60, so he would be at 4.8, he would be only at 3.7. But she would real 60% damage increase getting. And yeah, I think there's nothing else to her. It's just high damage. And have fun to look at this high damage. But yeah. Then let's go over Aqua. Aqua power. I really don't know what she does. That's the problem. I haven't really seen her that much. For every enemy in range, bleeding, buffs health, and allied by 5% damage. Whenever bleed expires on an enemy, this unit performs a follow-up attack using attack 2 for 50% of this unit's damage. Attack, inflict bleed for 50% of this unit's damage over 8 seconds. So if an enemy is bleeding, she gets a buff, and if this bleed is expiring, she follows up and she herself inflicts bleed. Her next attack is Blood Spear, a small circle, not small, a medium circle. Then she gets Blood Demon, still a medium to big circle. And Blood Demon is the last move. She gets a meter. Has a blood meter. Anytime a bleed expires, increase meter by 5%. When meter is 100%, can use Blood Demon. Activate where active gains 100% damage and 20% range, and becomes to stats effects and stats buffs immovable. Oh, okay, sorry. This ability is gain. Oh, this is when the meter is full. Okay. So this is what I just read. That's the ability you want to have this in auto. So if blood is 100%, you instantly activate it. When this unit applies bleed, buff damage by 30% for 10 seconds. So it's just a raw 30% damage buff. If she could apply bleed when the enemies would be not that weak. Anytime a bleed is applied in range, gain 5% meter. So it's just like that the meter is going up faster. Let's spawn in some enemies that are a bit stronger than usual. Yeah, alien generals, it should be fine. And we want two strongest. So we can fill up this meter real quick. So yeah, the meter is filled up. She gets a 100% damage buff, and she's actually at 92k DPS. At least for a second, yeah. 92k DPS is really not bad, right? It's not bad. But her AoE is pretty bad actually. So yeah, kinda more. It's replacement. Yep. So yeah, let's go now over Arbiter. So anytime this unit attacks an enemy, follows up with attack 1 for 50% damage. Attack 1 from this unit inflicts bleed for 50% of this unit's damage for 8 seconds. Why only attack 1? I don't know, but only the follow-up inflicts bleed. Anytime a follow-up is triggered in this unit range, gain 1 stack of wilted. Anytime a follow-up trigger, this unit gets a wilted. Whenever this unit reaches 20 stacks of wilted, the active AoE for the Deparated becomes able to be activated. Gain 5% damage per stack of wilted. Okay. Does 3 slashes, each doing 100% damage, follow up by a 4th slash that does 150% of this unit's damage. Okay. Increase cosmic damage by 30%. Okay, just a flat 30% damage. Well, it's okay. Whenever this unit uses its active, increase damage by 50% for 20 seconds. Oh, so if you're doing really many follow-ups, you're gonna do like immense amount of stacking from this passive. Okay, that's right. Anytime this unit attacks an enemy, follows up with the 5-second cooldown attack 1 from. Okay. I actually don't understand why she so good. Why is she working so good with Magma? Also, Nihilistic Flurry. Okay, and heavy Void Strike. Just in line. We have 7.2 seconds, okay. And yeah, you just want it, but let's see. 1 slash. Okay, it was like 4 slashes in 5 seconds, so it does like 450% damage instead of 100%. Okay. Something Magma has that makes her really good with her. Maybe because of the basic attack or so. So Magma gets 2% damage instance. I don't see why she's good with Magma, especially. Maybe the wiki can help me. When paired with Demon Leader Control. Here, something written down to that. Oh, she is really good. I will to avoid, Okay, she has no threat written down. I don't really know why she should be really good with Magma. I don't see the vision here. Their attack has anytime follow-up is triggered in this unit range game. Oh, okay, it is because of Makima's. Because every time a follow-up is triggered, and she triggers every time a follow-up when was it? When she attacks, so yeah, okay. It's to make the stacks much faster up. Or to go much faster up. Okay. Yeah. Then let's go now over the second one. The card. Later. I think those are only the two ones that I still need to look at. I think all the others I have. So let's go over all the cards. We have a nice border for Alucard because he got now a Vanguard, right? He is now a Vanguard. Especially Manchi name. So we all love Alucard. He bleeds, he afflicts wounded. Because of wounded, he was a really long time one of the strongest units in the game. Because he was one of the only units in the game that could inflict wounded. And all his attacks, like he got at the how much cost is it? It costs you 12k to get a small full AoE for Alucard with a decent damage, at least for the time. And then later on he gets a small AoE, but this one was really bad. And then he gets again full AoE, and this one was really good. He can summon his summons, yeah, and decrease his SP with that, and increase his damage with that. Yeah. So to his familiar, this unit summons HP is doubled. When enemy is hit by a summon from this unit, it is marked. I want to read. Can I read it, please? When marked enemies die, they are summoned as a random throw. So if we summon in, we're gonna see those bound in with the 8k HP. Oh no, 476. So it's the HP, the damage from Alucard. It's like no double. Before it was 50%, now it's 100%. And yeah, if they kill an enemy, or no, so how do I say it? If the summon's gonna hit an enemy, and this enemy is marked, then we kill this enemy, and he gonna spawn him as a throw, so as a summon, to run over the track again. The question is, how much HP do they have? Do they have the original HP, or have they the I don't know if I get 37 million down. Actually, or do they get the damage from Alucard and the HP? That's a question. He gains total 200% damage because he is so old. He got a damage buff with that. Increased damage increased by wounded from 20 to 35% because of that. He is again really good support, one of the best supports in the game, right? Because his wounded is no better than the other wounded. Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. Like it's gonna be again for a long time meta because of this. Because he increased the wounded damage. When attacking an enemy with bleed, slows them. So he doing bleed, he's doing wounded, he slows enemies. And he is doing an upgraded wounded, you could say, right? For Memorial deals 30% more damage while attacking bleeding. The enemies are always bleeding, so it's like always 30% extra damage, right? So because of that, it's the strongest familiar in the game. It's a Vanguard familiar plus this one where he gets forever all the units that they use a 30% damage increase. All enemies in this unit range are inflicted with bleed for 5% damage over 6 seconds. So they are bleeding for 100% in this range when you have his Memorial. Increase damage by 5% for every summon of this unit on the track, up to 100%. So I don't think that you're gonna get the 100% down, but if you're gonna summon all the things, you get the 50% damage. And yeah, Alucard is really strong. I can't show his DPS because like I don't have a Monarch. But with Monarch he does immense amount of damage. It's really not comparable. Like I have seen 3 million DPS. It's not comparable to other units. He is the strongest DPS in the game. Okay, so yeah. And to that we got Kafka. And Kafka is also really strong, right? She also reapplied more than once. I don't know how it's in her description, but that we're gonna show now. If Kafka is affected by this. On attack, this unit applies disease. For 30% seconds disease, DOTs will do 50% damage. And bleed for 30% of this 8 seconds. I think bleed is nothing you need to look at. When this unit deals damage via spider web, so it's her second passive, gain 5% damage. Only one placement of this unit can exit. Global. So you can't bring multiple Kafkas with you. Even though you have other friends with Kafka, you can't place her all. Whenever this unit attacks an enemy inflicted with DOT, does her follow-up attack. When this unit follow-up attack hits an enemy, deals all DOT damage currently on the enemy without removing the DOT. So she don't replace DOT, she just do all the damage of DOT there is to the enemy. And that's really strong if we have a full bleed team and the bleed is stacking up and doing so much damage, and then Kafka just does the damage as an instance. So yeah, Kafka is really strong, right? When a DOT is applied in this unit's range, increase damage by 5%. What's actually really good. This is really good, I think. You could use this on many units. When this unit attacks a bleeding enemy, inflicts slow for 5%. So yeah. So yeah, she just inflicts slow, what Alucard is still doing himself, and also you're only gonna play her with Alucard probably at the moment because Alucard is the strongest DOT unit in the game. Also, you want to play her with crits because and all the bleeding and everything. Do you want to play? No, with Blitz, I think. Wait, let me see. With what you want to play her. Here, you want to play her with Blitz, with paired with a duty player, right? So yeah, you want her to play with Blitz, so you can. Why you want to play her with Blitz? I think it was because you could perfectly time this 20-second cooldown, and this is the only thing you really care about in Kafka. She starts with a calm, where she just slashes some enemies. Then she gets Spider's Venom, a bigger cone, and again some slashes and a spiderweb at the end. And boom, a full AoE actually. That's also really crazy, right? So her last upgrade is not doing immense amount on damage. But if you pair her with a full AoE player DOT, like Alucard, she could do immense amount of damage because of this passive. Also, she inflicts disease, so all DOTs does extra damage, right? So yeah, that's I think all the units.
So if you have watched this far, I would be really happy if you could give me a like and could give me a comment what I have done great and what I have done not so great or bad, and I would try to change it. But yeah, have a great day.